Washington, as the Trump administration continues to cast doubt on the future viability of the North American Free Trade Agreement, American business leaders, members of Congress and governors have paraded into the White House to warn about the economic dangers of unraveling the pact. Government officials and business executives have met in recent weeks with President Trump and Vice President Pence, a development that's being viewed by proponents of Nafta as a positive sign for the future of the agreement. But as American, Canadian and Mexican trade negotiators met this week in Washington to reach a new deal, there has been no sign that the United States is ready to alter its tough negotiating stance. Mr. Trump continues to criticize the deal and talk about withdrawing from the 1994 pact, including at a rally last Friday in Pensacola, Florida. And talks with Canadian and Mexican negotiators, which took place a few blocks from the White House, concluded Friday still deadlocked over several proposals by the United States. Instead, negotiators meeting in what they call an intercessional round this week focused on forging agreements on less contentious parts of the pact, including reducing regulatory barriers, setting standards related to the electricity sector, and regulating state-owned enterprises. Officials are trying to lay the foundation to announce more progress at the sixth official round of negotiations over Nafta, which is scheduled to take place in Montreal on January 23 to 28. The lead negotiators are angling to reach agreement on as many as 6 of the pact's roughly 24 legal chapters at that meeting, people familiar with the negotiations say. It's an ambitious goal, but one that many see as necessary, given that the timeline for resolving the pact will soon run up against political issues next year, including a presidential election in Mexico and midterm elections in the United States. With time running out and the United States continuing to take a tough stance, industry leaders and state officials have begun trying to convince the administration to avoid upsetting a trade pact they say has benefited many American companies and communities. In 2016, 33 American states counted Canada as their biggest export market, while 6 states ranked Mexico first. Pushback from automakers and farmers, 2 groups that are likely to be harmed if the United States withdraws from Nafta, helped result in the series of meetings between the administration and NAFTA's supporters. Mr. Pence discussed NAFTA's importance to the economy with the governor of Indiana and auto manufacturers on Tuesday, and the governors of Arkansas, Iowa, Michigan and Tennessee on Thursday. Last week, Mr. Trump and Robert Lighthizer, the trade advisor who is leading the NAFTA negotiations, held several meetings with senators to talk about the pact. On November 27, Mr. Pence met with Mr. Lighthizer and representatives from the United States' 3 largest automakers. In a statement following the meeting on Thursday, Asa Hutchinson, the governor of Arkansas, said he had told the administration that his state must be able to continue its access to North American markets unimpeded by trade barriers. It is clear that there is great potential for harm in Arkansas, especially to our farmers, if the United States reverses course regarding cross-border trade, Mr.